Is your child a natural-born entertainer? Now is their chance to join the most talented youth dance crew in the Mid-South, the Blue Bunch. The Blue Bunch entertains Grizz Nation with their energetic dance routines and even have the opportunity to collaborate on performances with leading artists in the entertainment industry. Kids ages 7 to 17 are invited to show off their skills and personality for their chance to join the next generation of NBA entertainers. Open auditions are Saturday, June 28th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
With a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go! Let's go!
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready for Game 1, NBA Finals, Pacers Thunder, because it's finally here. We had to wait a minute. We've been on a hiatus, as we discussed earlier in the week. We've been on an NBA hiatus, but our hiatus will soon be over. We get Game 1 tonight. Paycom Center, Oklahoma City. Thunder big-time favorites. We'll discuss it momentarily. First, so quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes, going to be joined by Mike Wallace, of course, senior editor, Grind City Media. I'll talk all things NBA with him. Mike Wallace going to join me in the next segment. Finish talking to Mike, take a break, come back. 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Game 1, Stanley Cup Final was last night in Edmonton. Oilers won it 4-3. It was apparently an instant classic. We'll talk some hockey to the best of our ability. We'll do it in about 40 minutes. In a series featuring future Hall of Famers Clayton Kershaw, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor. It was Pete Alonso, the polar bear, who was the MVP Wednesday night in Los Angeles. 2 home runs. We'll show you his 447-foot one. We'll do that a little later on in the show. Game 1, 2025 Women's College World Series featured something you don't see every day. What was supposed to be an intentional walk turned into the game-winning hit for Texas. We'll show you what happened. We'll do that in just a bit. Rest in peace, Downtown Hooters. Oh, man.
We saw it coming.
Rest in peace, Downtown Hooters.
A lot of memories there.
End of an era. It's the end of an era.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can safely say it's the end of an era.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
We're going to cry some real tears.
Okay.
We'll do that in the second hour. And Briarcrest Christian School graduate Greg Hardy, who is, of course, a former Ole Miss and NFL star. He was arrested again on Wednesday, this time in Texas. He's been charged with assault causing bodily injury to a family member. That don't sound good.
No, it does not.
That does not sound good. I'll tell you more about it during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with the 2025 NBA Finals because Game 1 is set for tonight. They're going to do it inside the Paycom Center, downtown Oklahoma City. It's Thunder Pacers. Best of 7 series. The winner will hold the Larry O'Brien Trophy for the first time in history. And before you tweet me or get into the chat, yes, I know the Thunder franchise won a championship in 1979 when they were called the Seattle Supersonics. But I don't count that.
No, you can't count that because here's the thing is if the league eventually expands to Seattle, they're going to get all that stuff back. They're going to sell it back to them. So, yeah.
I don't know how all that works.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't count it because
I don't count it either, GP.
Here's the truth. Nobody in Oklahoma City cared about that franchise until it became the Oklahoma City Thunder, just like nobody in Memphis cared about this franchise until it became the Memphis Grizzlies instead of the Vancouver Grizzlies. So when this is over, what I'm telling you is true. Either OKC fans or Indiana fans will have a championship parade for the first time, and either Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Tyrese Halliburton will hold the Larry O'Brien Trophy for the first time. Trivia time. Do you know who Larry O'Brien is? We talk about the Larry O'Brien Trophy all the time. Do you know Larry O'Brien?
Yeah, Larry O'Brien is a former point guard. I don't. I have no idea.
Yeah, and I'm not even trying to make you feel silly. If I made you feel silly, I apologize.
Is he a former point guard?
I mean, he's the former commissioner of the NBA.
Oh, okay.
And I just sort of, as I was prepping for this last night, I said, how many people are people more familiar in the year 2025 with the Larry O'Brien Trophy than they are Larry O'Brien himself, the man?
I think without question.
I
consider myself an NBA, I won't say expert, but a novice.
You're a history major. I'm
a history major, and I like the NBA, and I enjoy the history of the game. But Larry O'Brien, how
many 20-year-olds who are getting ready to watch the NBA Finals tonight? They're fired up. And they go, man, it's SGA on one side, Tyrese Halliburton on the other side, choke sign, everything. Somebody's going to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy when this is over. How many of those people who are 20 years old then could say, and let me tell you about Larry O'Brien? Or even I know who Larry O'Brien was. I bet it's not many. We have forgotten him. We've remembered his trophy, but we have forgotten Larry O'Brien, the man.
What did he do to deserve this amazing honor? I mean, your name's on the trophy.
Okay,
I mean,
okay,
it's like,
okay. You touch
like the Stanley Cup.
Okay, now we're talking.
We know that.
Okay, now we're talking. All right?
All right.
Now we're talking. Because Larry O'Brien was the commissioner of the NBA from 1975 to 1984. He oversaw Magic and Larry entering the league. Congratulations. He was ultimately replaced by David Stern. You know that story.
Yeah, that's my commissioner.
And that's my commissioner.
That's the era that I fell in love with the game.
That's when I fell in love with the game as well. So here's the thing. Oh, buddy, you can tell I got bored last night. This used to be the Walter A. Brown Trophy. All right? Mm-hmm. This used to be the used to win a championship.
Please don't ask me about him.
Oh, I could tell you. He's the founder of the Boston Celtics.
What did he do? Invent the basket?
He founded the Celtics.
Okay.
He founded the Celtics. Okay. So this was the Walter A. Brown Trophy for a while. Then Larry O'Brien retired, replaced by David Stern. And then we changed it to the Larry O'Brien Trophy. But this guy was commissioner for like
a decade?
Not even. Does he deserve this? Does Larry O'Brien deserve this is what I'm asking you.
I mean, so let's imagine.
And I wasn't going to go there.
Yeah, no, we're taking it there.
I wasn't going to take it there, but you wanted to take it there. Is Larry O'Brien still alive,
first of all?
Oh, no, we lost him.
We lost him? Okay.
A long time ago.
I'm not going to feel that bad.
We lost him quite a while ago.
Okay.
I believe retired in 84, dead in 90.
So look.
Rest in peace.
The league clearly got on the map with Magic and Larry Bird, right? And that's the Larry O'Brien era.
Can't argue with that.
So we can't argue with that. We established
factually.
that. But David Stern took this thing into a whole different level. The country fell in love with the league under the David Stern era.
The world fell in love with the league.
It became an international game.
It became an international game on David Stern's watch. Does Larry O'Brien deserve this is what I'm asking you.
Dare I say it's time for a name change?
Could be time for a name change.
Dare I say it's time to turn this into the David Stern Trophy?
Why are we letting a man who was commissioner for less than a decade, why are we letting his name get attached to this trophy like this forever? You didn't let it with Walter, what's his name? Walter Brown?
You erased Walter real fast.
We erased Walter Brown?
Yeah.
Real fast.
Talk about him.
Yeah, well, like, if we can take the trophy from Walter Brown, this is the question I'm asking, and I wish somebody would ask this to Adam Silver. He'll probably have media availability tonight before game one. This should be the first question to Adam Silver. Adam, if we can take the trophy away from Walter Brown, what prevents us from taking the trophy away from Larry O'Brien?
Your response.
How you think he's going to handle that one?
I think he'll have a good answer if the question's asked.
It would be hilarious if that was the first question.
It would be amazing. It would actually be incredible.
Commissioner Silver.
Yes.
I know this isn't something that gets brought up a lot.
But we got questions.
But I got to ask you.
Yeah.
As everybody knows, back in '84, you took the Walter Brown trophy and you changed it to the Larry O'Brien trophy in honor of the late commissioner. He was commissioner for 9 years, but he has had that trophy named after him for 40. What prevents us from taking the trophy away from Larry O'Brien and giving it to David Stern or somebody else?
What's the NFL one called? I know. I know, dude.
We're going to have to bring Brock into the conversation.
I know.
What
I
is
feel
the
stupid now.
Super Bowl trophy?
The Lombardi Trophy. God,
That makes
come on,
sense.
Jalen, thank you.
Thank you, Jalen. It's the Lombardi
How
trophy.
the hell did I not know that?
Because we're both
That's
stupid.
shameful.
We're
That's
both
actually
dumb.
really shameful.
We're both, like, once you get past
Yeah.
all the nonsense, we're both just not very smart.
Okay, but like
That's how.
Vince Lombardi.
That's Vince Lombardi. I mean,
Everyone
that's Lombardi.
knows him.
Everybody knows Lombardi. Everybody knows Lombardi. That name
and everyone
means
knows
something.
Lord Stanley's Cup.
Everybody knows about Lord Stanley, and everybody knows Lombardi. But people don't know Larry O'Brien like that. Mm-hmm. They don't know him like that. They don't know Larry O'Brien like that.
So what do you want to rename it? The David Stern Trophy?
I think
just go in
I think
order?
we just keep doing it. We commissioner and commissioner. But imagine David Stern.
Mm-hmm.
David Stern's like, all right, listen, whatever, happy for everybody. But Larry O'Brien retired and immediately got the trophy named after him.
Mm-hmm.
David Stern retired? Nothing.
Nothing.
Died in a restaurant? Nothing.
Did he die in a restaurant?
I think
Did he really?
he died in a hospital, but I think he had an incident at a restaurant.
Jeez.
Yeah, rest in peace. Rest in peace to everybody.
I would
Rest in power.
I would seriously consider this, and I consider this the start of this movement to change the name of the trophy. I want it to be called the David Stern.
I don't mind Larry O'Brien having his moment, but it's been 40 plus years, bro.
And listen, we're just going according to how they do. Like Walter had it for a minute, and then Larry had it forever.
Now forever.
Now
I mean,
it's
Jesus
someone
Lord.
else's turn.
Well, it's like you dropped it off at Walter's house or at Larry's house. It's like you dropped something off at Larry's house and just forgot to go pick it up.
Yeah.
Like you were supposed to pick it up decades ago and you just forgot about it. So it's just been sitting there 40 years later, still the Larry O'Brien trophy.
Mm-hmm.
If we could take it from Walter Brown, we could take it from Larry O'Brien. And the truth is, with all due respect to everybody, rest in peace, rest in power, we should have already taken it from Larry O'Brien. He doesn't, I don't want to say he doesn't deserve it. That's not for me to say. That's not for me to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it feels like it's time. And
It
if I
does.
were the ghost of David Stern, I'd be pissed.
I would be pissed
If
as well.
I were the ghost of David Stern, I'd be pissed.
Okay.
Back to game one.
Yes.
We have a 7:30 p.m. tip tonight. It's going to be on ABC.
Okay.
It's not America's most watched network, but it is a prominent network. Pacers Thunder, Oklahoma City sitting as a 9.5 point favorite. The total is 230.5. Personally, I can't wait for this. Two fun teams, multiple young stars, the MVPs involved. One city or the other is going to win an NBA title for the first time. Like, I'm fired up for this. Mm-hmm. But I understand not everybody is as excited as I am, which is something Adam Silver was discussing on television yesterday. The lack of big markets in these NBA finals, because I don't know if you know, Indianapolis is market size number 22 in the NBA, and Oklahoma City is number 26. Now remember, there are only 28 markets in the NBA because New York has 2 teams, LA has 2 teams. So Indiana is 22 out of 28, and OKC is 26 out of 28. So these are 2 of the 7 smallest markets in the NBA. Obviously, this could create some not so great television ratings relative to, say, what they would get if it were Knicks-Lakers in the finals. And Adam Silver, the commissioner, he was on TV again yesterday, and among other things, he addressed this issue. Let's watch what he said together.
It's one thing I really admire about the NFL. I mean, if we were going into a Super Bowl and it was Packers against Steelers, you guys would be celebrating that. Those would be storied franchises. People wouldn't be talking about, you know, the fact that Pittsburgh is a small market. So in fact, you know, I'm happy whatever team ends up in the finals, but it's been intentional from our standpoint to create a system, a collective bargaining agreement that allows more teams to compete. And just by way of background, you know, we're going to have to go through a process of getting to the point where people are accustomed to tuning into the finals because it's the 2 teams that deserve to be there, and it's the best basketball. Similar to, again, with the Super Bowl, if I asked somebody if they were going to watch the Super Bowl, they wouldn't say who's playing. It's a national holiday, and now that's nirvana.
That's
you know,
the goal.
I'm not saying we're anywhere close to that yet. There's still, if the Knicks are in the finals, there's a segment of our fan base that's going to watch that may not watch if it's other teams. But my job is to get people to love and follow this game, and so that if you're a huge basketball fan, you should want to tune into the finals because that's the best basketball.
I think that's mostly right, but it's a big challenge. To summarize there, because I've seen a lot of people summarize what they think Adam Silver said there, and it's not all right. He wasn't shaming basketball fans for not caring about the Pacers and Thunder as much as he was acknowledging we need to get basketball fans to a place where it doesn't matter who's in the NBA Finals. You just can't wait for the NBA Finals. The point he made about the Super Bowl is spot on. If somebody asks you if you're watching the Super Bowl or going to a Super Bowl party, you say yes or no, but it is totally disconnected from who's in the game. Like, I don't even have a favorite football team. I don't even really care that much. But I'm always going to watch the Super Bowl. And I'm always going to watch the NFL playoffs. And it doesn't matter who's competing. Like, if there's a playoff game on and I have an option to watch it, I'm watching it in the NFL. Super Bowl, obviously, we're having a get-together, regardless of who's in the game. Adam Silver wants to get his sport to a similar place. Big challenge, because the issue that the NBA has right now, there's a lot of them, but one of the issues is that they play an entire regular season that feels like it doesn't matter, and they play an entire regular season while many of their stars are showing you and telling you that it doesn't really matter. Sit-out games when you could play. Literally saying out loud, our goal is not to finish first in the West or the East. Like, Michael Malone said that a couple years ago in Denver. We're not trying to win the West. We're not trying to be the 1 seed. Like if we're putting a list of our goals on a whiteboard, win the West or be the 1 seed in the West is not number 1 on that list. That's not our priority. There is no other sport that Americans care about where the people involved literally tell you winning is not the most important thing. There's no other sport that we care about where they tell you that. You will never hear a college football coach say, I'm not trying to win my conference. You'll never hear an NFL coach say, I'm not trying to win my division. But in the NBA, they say it all the time, and they show it to you all the time.
I mean, baseball, Major League Baseball.
They still want to win your division, without exception.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The goal is still to win every game. I mean, you rest players there too sometimes, but it's 162. But even then, you don't have load management in baseball the way you do in the NBA.
That's fair.
Like Pete Alonso just not going to sit out the second I mean, Jesus, baseball is just back-to-backs is all it is. It's the whole season is back-to-backs. Imagine asking basketball players to play 3 days in a row. And I know they're different sports, but you get the point.
I get it.
You have players showing you that it's not important. Like, can you imagine this story in the NFL? Patrick, outside of it's the last game of the season and there's nothing to play for, but can you imagine, like, in week 4, this headline, Patrick Mahomes is healthy enough to play, but is going to sit out Sunday's game for rest. You would never hear that.
That's true.
You hear it in the NBA every 2 days. So how do you get your sport to a place where market size doesn't matter, where people want to watch no matter what? You have to make it feel like it matters. So many people get all the clues throughout the season. This doesn't really matter. This doesn't really matter. This doesn't really matter. So you just stop watching. This is the thing about the NBA. Here's the truth. People like to talk about the NBA. They don't like to watch it, or at least that's what the television numbers show us. People love to talk about it, debate it, tweet about it, argue about it. But turn on the games and watch them? Not as much. Not as much. Why? Because we feel like it doesn't matter. Why? Because you tell us it doesn't, and you show us it doesn't. So then you get to the playoffs, and you know what we always say? But playoff basketball is different. And, buddy, it is. Minutes go up. There ain't no resting. Ain't nobody sitting out game 3 for rest or load management. And I know there's days between the games and all this stuff, but I promise you there were times in the Eastern Conference Finals where people were tired, but they're not sitting out games just to rest. It's like, this is important. Now it's important. But by the time you get around to telling us it's important, most people have just not even watched it. So it's like, I'm sitting here going, I've been watching it all season. This Tyrese Halliburton thing is great. And people are like, who is he again? People didn't even know who he was until he hit the choke sign, right? That's the biggest problem. How do you fix that? You watch the NFL every Sunday, every Thursday, every Monday, every time it's on. You want to know why you watch it? You love football, sure. But you know why else? It feels like everything matters. It feels like everything matters.
Yeah, although NBA, I will say, even like as a country, and this is just as a country, not just me, we'll watch the crappiest NFL game.
Sure, but it's still, by and large, the NFL has somehow tapped into every Sunday is the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah.
And the NBA has no day in its regular season that feels like it's the biggest day in the world, even Christmas Day, MLK Day. There is never a day in the NBA regular season where people go, this is the day I got to watch because, buddy, this is big-time stuff that really matters. That day does not exist in the NBA's regular season. And that's a real problem. How do you get people to care about your product regardless of market size? You got to make it matter for more than just the playoffs.
That's right.
Games 1 through 82 you got to make them feel important. And I think that starts with the players showing us that it's important. And they do not show us. That's just a fact. In basketball, unlike any other team professional sport that we care about, the athletes involved sit out when it's not truly necessary. They sit out when it's not truly necessary. That sends a big message to your customer that they don't think this stuff matters that much. They don't think this game tonight matters that much. Otherwise, I watched this guy play yesterday. I know he could play tonight. I know if it was game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, he would play tonight. But he's not playing tonight. Why? Well, rest, load management, whatever. So I guess it just doesn't matter. I guess the game just doesn't. Because he could play if he wanted to play, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's just not playing. Right. I guess it just doesn't matter. So if it doesn't matter, then whatever. I guess I'll find something that matters to pay attention to. It's a real problem.
It is. As far as how to fix, I don't know. I mean, I do think that
this whole sitting out thing is not something that's been there forever. This did not happen on Larry O'Brien's watch or David Stern's watch.
That's why he's keeping that trophy.
So the idea that this is just the way basketball has to be done, that's just not true.
It's not. I mean, I wonder if these guys are obviously putting more physical toll on their bodies than probably ever before. I'm just saying the game is played at such a fast pace now. Sure. Than it ever has been in the history of the game, probably.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if like trying to find a way to eliminate back-to-backs altogether is a thing that's even possible, because it seems like it could eliminate some of the load management stuff. If you're just as a league, like, we're not doing the load management stuff, and guess what? We're going to get rid of the back-to-backs so you don't have an excuse.
But they'll come up with an excuse.
They will come up with an excuse. That's probably true.
Name me the thing that has been an issue in the NBA, and the NBA tried to cater it to fix the issue, and it actually got fixed. Mm-hmm. How many times have they changed the All-Star game? Everything about All-Star Weekend changes every year because they're just saying, hey, players, if we do this, will you try? Hey, players, if you do this, if we try it this way, can we get you to care at all? Okay. And every time the players are like, nah. So, they say eliminate back-to-backs. You know what my prediction would be? They'd eliminate back-to-backs, and they'd find some other reason to not play.
Maybe. I mean, there was a big example here later this season, and I think most of the guys ended up playing because the game was so huge. But it was when they were fighting to move out of the 8th seed or fighting for the spot outside of the. Anyways, and I think the Grizzlies played Minnesota here at home, and it was a late game because it was a TNT game, so it was a 8:30 p.m. tip. The next night they're in Denver, and they left the arena here at like 3 a.m. or something like that. That feels like something that you could make go away completely if you're the league. Sure, but you ready for this? Happens in baseball every week. Yeah, but they're not and I know different sports. I got it. I'm not trying to make it an apples to apples comparison. They're not running the whole game. I'm just saying if these were my children talking to me, I would say, it sounds like you just can't keep coming up with excuses to not do what I need you to do. You tell me to let's try this. We try it, and then it's just something else always. It sounds like you're coming up with excuses. I guess we could tinker with it and try to a lot of different ways to go down this path. But how about let's just start with basketball players used to play basketball every game unless they were hurt. And I know there's some strength and conditioning person like watching or listening right now who's going, this idiot just doesn't understand. All right. This idiot just doesn't understand the real reasons behind load management and rest and not playing even though you technically could. You just don't get it. Okay. I'll concede the point. What I'm trying to tell you is that none of that matters to your customers. At the end of the day, this is a business, and your customers are... Oh, that's true. Your customers are fed up with buying tickets and then not seeing the players that they expected to see and wanted to see simply because somebody somewhere has decided you don't need to play this many minutes in back-to-back games even though your body is completely healthy. You have a customer problem. You might can justify it in some fancy terminology, but your customers don't like it at all. And this thing can be a small problem that becomes a big problem. How often do you see tweets from people who say, I just bought tickets to go see, name the team. We don't even have to make it about the Grizzlies. To go see the Timberwolves, and Anthony Edwards just sitting out for no reason. I can't believe I paid all this money for these tickets, take my son to see his favorite player, and he's just sitting out for no reason. All right? We see those tweets all the time. You know what that does? It prevents people, or it makes them more hesitant than they otherwise would be to buy tickets. And you know where the next step of that is? It makes it more hesitant for season ticket holders to buy season tickets. Because you know what some season ticket holders will say? Because I've heard this from them. Why do I want to pay for 82 games when the players that I want to see most ain't going to be there for a good percentage of them? How do you answer that question? It's a reasonable question. So this is something the NBA has to address. They've got to figure it out. There are no simple solutions. I'm not sitting here saying, and this is what you got to do. Like, Adam Silver's a smart guy. If there was a simple solution to any of this, he'd already found it. Sure. But they've got to figure that out. You've got to make it where your product matters. And too often in the regular season, it doesn't even matter, seemingly, to the people involved. And it's hard to get other people to care when the people involved don't even seem to really care that much. Mike Wallace up next.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Are you ready?
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
The First Ladies of FedEx Forum, the Grizz Girls, are known across the NBA for setting the standard for professional dance and entertainment, and they are looking for dancers to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. With the chance to gain professional dance experience and connect with the Memphis community, auditioning for the Grizz Girls is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Come show up at Open Call Auditions Saturday, July 26th at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. I'm inside the Bill Ford Tough studio. And on Thursdays in the second segment, I'm joined by senior editor, Grind City Media. It's the great Mike Wallace. Hey, Mike Wallace, it's GP. How are you?
What's going on, GP? Good to be on with you, man.
I owe you an apology. I'm at least 13 minutes. I'm 13 minutes late getting to you, and I know what it's like to be waiting on somebody to put you on Zoom and ask you questions on camera, and it can get frustrating when somebody gets to you this late. So I owe you an apology, but we ended up laughing about possibly changing the name of the Larry O'Brien Trophy a little longer than I anticipated, and then I got to discussing the ills of the NBA in a more lengthy way than I thought that I would. But let me start there and ask you about what we were talking about as we ended that segment. Adam Silver sort of lamenting yesterday on television that he hasn't been able to get the NBA to a place where people are excited and fired up to watch the NBA Finals regardless of who's in it, like we do the Super Bowl. We don't care who's in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is a national holiday. But it does matter who's in the NBA Finals. The television ratings for this, in other words, the amount of people who will watch this, it would be different if it were Knicks Lakers as opposed to Pacers Thunder. And one of the reasons I think the NBA struggles with this is because they spend an entire regular season showing us and telling us that those games don't really matter that much. Players sit out. Winning isn't prioritized. And when you spend month after month after month showing and telling people, yeah, we're playing games and we're bouncing balls and making shots, but the results don't really matter over an 82-game stretch, it becomes difficult to get people who haven't been monitoring it all to get fired up about two teams in the finals that they're not that familiar with. A LeBron or a Steph there, you can fix a lot of problems. But when you have young stars that aren't to that level of notoriety, small markets in the NBA, and months of basketball that people didn't really care about, it's hard to flip that switch. That's a long-winded way to turn it back over to you, but just your thoughts on everything I said.
Well, listen, man. I mean, I heard everything you said on most of the previous segment, and you made some great points. You and Bennett did. I think by and large, the NBA has two issues on its hands right now. One is an alignment problem, an alignment challenge. What you just articulated is what a reality is. Like, in these, the NBA is trying to make these teams put their players out there to play. The NBA and Adam Silver is doing everything that they can to make sure that fans who buy tickets to certain games in certain markets will show up and see those players. That's why the rules are different in terms of sitting a player out on the road versus sitting a player out at home. This is a team by team issue when it comes to that and adhering to those things. Different teams have different standards for how they want to roll their players out and how they treat the medical process and, soreness versus injuries and all of these kind of things. And frankly, the Grizzlies have become masters at manipulating that system. I mean, they do. They talk about soreness for 3 games and then it becomes an injury, right? When it could have been listed as an injury up front. And then you got a better understanding of it. I'm not saying the Grizzlies are the only team that does that, but, again, that's part and parcel to the NBA. The second issue is it's a branding issue. In the NBA, the players themselves, the player empowerment era created a system where the brands of the players supersede the brands of the teams. So that's why if you don't necessarily care for a certain player, you're not going to care for his team. You're going to check out. In the NFL, that's completely different. There may be 2 players in the NFL whose individual brands supersede or is as large as the team. Patrick Mahomes is the first one that comes to mind, maybe Lamar Jackson, but everywhere else, it's the team. No matter who you're rooting for, the teams are bigger than the individual players. The NBA is the exact opposite. And until that changes, and I don't know, I'm like Bennett, I don't know how you change that, but I think paying these players this exorbitant amount of money so soon before they accomplish anything, it sort of it decentivizes what a championship quest means. Like Anthony Edwards just said, we talked about it last week. I'm going to be fine. I got 16 more cracks at this. Mike Conley's on his way out. Like, you're not supposed to feel that way, but that's what the league has already shown you. Anthony Edwards left that loss, and I'm going to turn it back over to you. But Anthony Edwards left that playoff series, got in his house, and probably saw 6 or 7 Anthony Edwards commercials, right? He's already got $200+ million. What is the incentive to getting to the finals for him if he's not self-driven from that standpoint? So those are the 2 issues that the NBA is facing with this dynamic right now.
I mean, I understand the optics of it. Somebody just yelling into a microphone. You need to do your job. So take me out of it. We have somehow gone from a place where Kobe Bryant would play 82 games 4 different times in his career. And when asked for an explanation for why he's always in uniform when he's capable of being in uniform, his mindset was more or less, I'm a superstar. I'm one of the faces of this league. He probably thought he was the face of the league. And I never know when somebody has a ticket to a game, if it's going to be the first time they have ever seen me, the last time they will ever see me, if they're coming strictly for me, and I don't want to let those people down. Beyond all the competitive nature stuff, I just feel like he actually felt like it was his responsibility to play if he could play. We have somehow gone from that mindset to a dramatically different mindset. And if I were running the NBA, that would trouble me deeply because it ain't that long ago when Kobe Bryant was saying, if I can play, I'm going to play. And now almost no superstar says that or does that. Almost no superstar is going to play 82 games in a season.
Michael Jordan, case in point, played 82 games at 39, 40 years old in his final season with the Washington Wizards, right? So that tells you the kind of mindset. But Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, they're sort of outliers when it comes to that. Even in their era, there weren't guys that were pushing it as hard and as relentlessly as they did. They felt a bigger commitment and a bigger obligation to both the league and their global brand than a lot of these players do right now. And the mindset is just different, man. Like, again, I mean, I was listening to or watching something yesterday about apparently how Cooper Flagg, the #1 pick in the draft, going to the, presumably, going to the Dallas Mavericks, is already $28 million in. He only played one season at Duke, had $28 million worth of NIL commitments. And that's going to supersede 3 times what he makes in his rookie year, right? In terms of NBA salary. So what is the accomplishment, right? Like, he's already so accomplished to the point where what else is there to drive him to want to, or incentivize him to want to go out there and become a champion as soon as he can in his career, when everything else in his life is already set? It used to be like Charles Barkley had to wait 2 contracts before he got comfortable and became a millionaire. Michael Jordan didn't make $30 million one season until he was 12 seasons into his career. Desmond Bain made $30 million last year. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to, disparage Desmond Bain, but I'm just saying, like, the league is different. The money is different. Players don't feel like they're as, and I don't blame anyone. I just think that we got here together. The popularity of the league was built off of a generation that no longer is held to the same standard that this generation isn't held to the same standard as that generation of players were. And it's frustrating, man. I get it. But I will say this. You can't tell me that the fans in Indiana don't care about basketball in the finals. You can't tell me the fans in Oklahoma City don't, or the market in San Antonio isn't crazy about Victor Wembanyama and what they're doing. And the people in, Chicago still shows up regardless of the product that the Bulls have put on the floor the last 25 years or 30 since Jordan left. Different places across middle America have no problem supporting these NBA finals and these type of markets. It's the coastal cities that check in and check out based on their interest level.
Yeah, the money probably, or at least perhaps, plays a role in this, because you do get a lot of it very quickly now, and it can come down to, whereas in previous eras you might really be working every day because you're trying to get that big payday. Now everybody gets the big payday. Like, you don't have to be great to get $100 million anymore. And then it just comes down to, on some level, are you just wired to compete? Like, the money doesn't matter. Like, you could have $1 billion and you would still want to kill somebody every time you step on a court. Like, is that mindset yours? In golf, I think we're watching this unfold right now with the LIV Tour, because they threw hundreds of millions of dollars at these guys, and they went from every week you play, and if you don't make a cut, you don't get a paycheck. And now that's exaggerated a little bit because they got sponsorships and whatever. But like, technically, like, you could go to an event, show up, compete, and you won't get paid for being at that event if you don't perform well. You go to LIV, and it's like all your money's up front. You big pile. And what we have found is somebody like Bryson DeChambeau gets all his money, but he's still wired to just work and still wired to just try to be great. So he's flourishing at LIV, and his popularity has exploded even without the PGA Tour. But then you see somebody like Dustin Johnson, and yeah, he's gotten older, and that's probably part of it, but there's some real thought that this was a guy who never really loved golf that way anyway. They gave him all that money, and he just had no incentive to work anymore. And so he's just not working the way he used to work, and now he's a very mediocre golfer. And I don't think it's crazy to apply that same logic to the NBA. You're always going to have somebody who's just wired to be a killer. You could give them $1 billion, and they're going to be in the gym the same way they otherwise would be. But there are other guys who absolutely, you get all that money, and you start looking around, and do I need to go to the gym this morning? Do I need to? And other things can become the priority. Like, what's the saying you always hear? Keep the main thing the main thing. Too often these days, the main thing doesn't stay the main thing. And it's all of this is just big stuff that the NBA's got to figure out. But we got other days to talk about that. Let's talk about the NBA Finals, because they start tonight. Game 1, Thunder Pacers. I will not ask you who you think is going to win, because I think I know the answer. Everybody other than maybe like Pat McAfee seems to be picking the Thunder. So let me put it to you this way. If the Thunder do not win this, if it is Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers holding the Larry O'Brien Trophy, how does that happen?
Well, how does it happen? You look at Indiana's track record so far, right? All they have to do is follow the same script that they've been playing throughout these playoffs. Get one of the first 2 games. They've won the first game in every single series that they've played this season in the postseason. They beat Milwaukee. They beat, Cleveland at Cleveland, and they knocked off the Knicks in New York. In 2 of those series, they took the first 2 games from that situation. So it's one of those deals where they are capable of going into hostile environments, playing well, hanging around and making plays at the end that seem to be luck meets opportunity. So they have to do that. One thing that's also encouraging, if they're going to hold that trophy up, is going to be because they've committed far fewer turnovers than any other team that Oklahoma City has faced in these playoffs. Protect the basketball as much as possible. One of Oklahoma City's weaknesses is that they do give up the initial shot. They give you an open early shot. The Grizzlies were hesitant to take that first open early shot because they felt rushed. Nikola Jokic handled it all the way up until Game 7 when his supporting cast fell apart and they lost their confidence in that game right there. You go on and on and on. I don't think Minnesota ever had the confidence to do it, and they just never really showed up. But you got to take the first early shot, keep the pace where you want to keep it, and try your best to defend them without fouling. Those are things that Indiana has been good at. They have some depth. They have some balance. Every time that they win a game, it's a different player leading their team. And that's sort of similar. They're basically Oklahoma City light. So how do they get past Oklahoma City? They got to take this first game or one of these first two, neutralize the series as much as possible. I got Oklahoma City winning it in 7. That's not because I think strategically it's going to go 7. It's just I wanted to go 7, but I certainly can see this going at least 6.
Like, on one hand, because I'm invested in it, in the sense that I never, when I say stuff like this, I never want it to sound like I saw the thunder before anybody else. Like, that's stupid. It's just that very early on, when some people were saying, I don't know if they're old enough to go do it this year, I was like, I think they can do it this season. So I'm invested in it from that perspective. Like, I want to see them do it convincingly, just so, on a very selfish and immature level, I can say, I told you so. I don't even know who I'll say it to outside of Vernon, but I'll at least say it to him. On the other hand, I do want to see a compelling finals, and the best way to get a compelling finals that gets extended is for the Pacers to somehow win one of these games in Oklahoma City to make it 1-1 going back to Indianapolis. I don't know if they will, but if you're trying to make this interesting, I do think it's important for at least one of these two games to go the Pacers' way, because if not, and they end up going the way most OKC games go, which is blowout, if you thought the television ratings were going to be bad for two small market franchises, wait till you combine it with two small market franchises and a lopsided competition. That's not good. That's not good for anybody. Let me ask you this: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, everybody at this point understands how he plays, knows what he does. Nobody seems to be capable of stopping it. You can't stop him from doing what he wants to do. Tony Allen, quite literally one of the greatest on-ball defenders in the history of the NBA, one of the greatest perimeter defenders in the NBA, was on with Vernon and was like, he's unguardable. Like, there's nothing you can really do with him. From your perspective, like guys like that throughout your career, where even other NBA elite players say, there's nothing we can do with them when they get going, when they get comfortable. We heard T.A. say it about SGA. We heard Patrick Beverley once say it about Kevin Durant. Who are other guys that fit that description that you just can't deal with them? Jordan, obviously.
Yeah, Jordan, Kobe, James Harden. When Harden was in elite form. Nikola Jokic is like that right now. That list is pretty short. Steph Curry, obviously, because his ability to hit the eject button and pull up from 38 when you're in great defensive position. Certain guys have that ability to neutralize you. Dame Lillard, certainly when he was in his heyday and when he was hot. And I think Dame and SGA have a lot of similarities, and they're different style players, different body types, but they don't rush anything, and they're okay with getting off the ball and allowing their teammates to go for 2 quarters or 3 quarters, and then they know, okay, it's 3 minutes left in the fourth. I'm going to take over, and I'm going to give this team exactly what it needs. That's what makes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander almost unguardable. In this NBA, he's going to get the benefit of the doubt to get to the free throw line because he's aggressive. He can handle with both hands. He's almost ambidextrous when it comes to that. He can shoot from all 3 levels, and he's just a smooth operating type player. He knows how to neutralize you, but he doesn't force it. And that's the difference between him and some of the other guys like Jordan and Kobe and some of these guys that, go rely on their will to push them through when really you could just pass the ball and become a great teammate. LeBron certainly had some stages when, he was just basically unguardable because there was nothing you could take away from him. But, again, that just makes him great. But he also has a great team around him. And to see what Chet Holmgren has become, to see, what these defensive wings are doing, he's just perfectly situated with a team that, basically makes him play his best, and he elevates them to play their best too. So that's what makes it intriguing, man. But, one thing, and I have this real quick in my piece on Grind City Media up right now, is that, these two teams are obviously, we talked about the market size. We talked about the flyover country. We talked about these two dynamic point guards. They both have a similarity. They both were drafted outside the top 10 in the lottery. They both were given up on by their initial team 2 years into their careers, and they resurfaced on teams that were dynamically built around their talent, and they emerged. So that tells you what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Tyrese Halliburton bring to the table. I think it's a remarkable matchup. And as a basketball junkie, purist, and longtime guy covering this league, I'm looking forward to this series.
Last thing before I let you go, and this is going to be an ongoing conversation, I guess, until it's settled one way or another. Mm-hmm. I only bring it up now because Bobby Marks at ESPN had a new column up this week sort of looking at different players who are extension eligible this offseason.
Yeah.
And obviously Jaren Jackson's name is a part of this. When we get to Media Day, in advance of the 2025-26 season, and we sit down with Jaren, do you think we're asking him about the contract extension he reached with the Grizzlies this offseason? Or do you believe we're going to be asking him why he didn't reach a deal on a contract extension with the Grizzlies this offseason?
Great question. I would defer to the initial one.
Yeah.
And I think the most likely scenario is that he reaches a contract, extension. It's right around, depending on how they have to renegotiate this upcoming season, he's either going to get just short of $200 million or about $240 million, somewhere around there. That's the range between what they renegotiate based on next season. If I'm Jaren Jackson Jr., what I'm doing is I'm renegotiating for the most that I can get for next season, signing a 2-year deal with a player option for the second year. What that does, this is the LeBron James method. This is the KD method. This is the, certain guys, when they get to their peak earning power level, this is what they do. They sign a 2-year deal with a player option for the second year. And that keeps the super max conversation that brings it back to the table for next season for Jaren. He barely missed third team All-NBA this year. If he's healthy and he plays a complete season, relatively injury-free, he's probably going to be All-NBA next year. And then you sign the Supermax extension after that to maximize your earning potential. The Grizzlies aren't going to never not want to extend Jaren Jackson Jr., whether it's this year, next year, or whenever. Even if he gets hurt, they're not going to just say, hey, we're not going to extend you. They're going to take care of Jaren Jackson Jr. because of everything that went into where he is right now. So his earning potential starts at the very beginning next season. I think he does get some kind of deal done. But if I'm him, I bet on myself. I take the security of a 2-year fully guaranteed as max as possible deal right now, opt out next season, and then go get my Supermax.
That is Mike Wallace. He is on X at my Mike Check in the latest column. It's up at grindcitymedia.com right now. Headline, Thunder Pacers NBA Finals offers insight for Grizzlies, small market contenders. You can find that grindcitymedia.com. You're the best, buddy. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, man. Take care now.
Bye-bye. Mike Wallace, Grind City Media. We come back. Benny, we'll talk some hockey?
Oh, I'm in.
Stanley Cup Final.
I'm all the way in.
Game 1 was last night. It was quite a doozy. It went to overtime. And it's the Edmonton Oilers, Florida Panthers rematch of last season's Stanley Cup Final. It feels like this should have been more on my radar than it was. Because here's the truth. I don't know this time yesterday that I knew last night was Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Okay. I don't know if I knew that. Why do you think I don't know that?
I don't know. It's usually the same time every year.
You think I just pick up on that, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We'll discuss it next.
What should the Grizzlies take away from this Western Conference Finals matchup?
The Grizzlies need more quality depth.
Not just depth, quality depth.
Well, what the Memphis Grizzlies can learn and take away from the Western Conference Finals is you can't talk about it, you got to be about it.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies on home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today. The Grizzlies, grannies, and grandpas have the right moves and are currently looking for new members to join their team for the upcoming season. These soulful seniors are a fan favorite group throughout Grizz Nation. You do not have to be a grandparent, but you must be at least 50 years old with personality, rhythm, and passion for performing. If that sounds like you, then we want to see you on Sunday, June 29th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information.
Bain drives.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead.
Yeah!
Jarrett with a knockaway.
Good defense.
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
That's no show. Let's go.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Game 1 Stanley Cup final held last night in Edmonton, and the Oilers rallied from a 2-goal deficit. They had a multi-goal deficit, and they rallied, because the only way you can win once you have a multi-goal deficit, if there's one thing I know about hockey, it's this. The only way you can win once you have a multi-goal deficit, you know what you have to do? You have to rally.
Yeah.
So they had to rally. They rallied. They got it to the extra period, and then they win it 4-3 to take a 1-0 lead in the Stanley Cup final. This, of course, is a rematch between Florida and Edmonton. Same final we got last year. Florida prevailed in 2024. Who do we think is going to prevail in 2025, Bennett?
I'm rooting for the Oilers. I'm rooting for the Edmonton Oilers.
Why would you be rooting for the Edmonton Oilers? They're Canadian. They're Canadian. We have an American team and a Canadian team, and you're choosing to side with the Canadians.
I am.
Our future 51st state.
I am,
I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, I don't want to root for the I don't know what that noise is. No, it's okay. No, I want them to avenge last season.
You want them to avenge?
Yeah, that's a proud program.
You don't have to tell me.
Edmonton.
I know.
I believe that they've tied for maybe the most Stanley Cups in NHL history. I think I'm right there. I think that they are way up there. They're right up at the top.
Okay, but they're Canadian.
But it's been a minute. They haven't won since the 80s.
But they're Canadian.
Yeah, but I like Canada.
Bennett.
I know. There's this movement to pit us against our friends from the north.
It's us against them.
Not really.
They harbor a master manipulator and a habitual liar, too.
Dude, I'm just not like Florida Panthers. That just doesn't like you. We spent the last 2 segments talking about getting the excitement for the NBA
Are
finals.
you American or not? Can I stop you? I don't mean to interrupt, but can I stop and ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you American or not?
I am.
It doesn't sound like it.
The last thing that gets me excited about the Stanley Cup finals is a Florida hockey team. Sorry.
I thought you were American.
Sorry.
Good luck ever getting your invitation to Mar-a-Lago now, Bennett.
It can't. Is that in Florida? Is Mar-a-Lago in Florida? Where's Mar-a-Lago?
Bennett, Jesus Christ. How is it even possible that you don't know where Mar-a-Lago is?
Where is it?
It's in Florida.
Okay, that's what I
know,
said.
but how do you not know that?
I thought it was. I just had to reinforce. Is it near that? Because the Panthers play in like Fort something. They're not in like the big city necessarily.
I bet you this. You could take an Uber from Mar-a-Lago to a Florida Panthers home game, and
they're close to Miami, but they're not in Miami.
And it wouldn't take you too long to get there. Why don't you do a little Google search? Why don't you do some Google map? You want to do a Google map? I'll tell you.
Sunrise, Florida.
Okay.
Is where the Panthers reside.
Okay. Do you want me to figure this out for you? Mar-a-Lago. God, I'm surprised you don't have the address in your phone. And what's the name of the arena?
It is Amarant Bank Arena. Amarant.
Oh, buddy. It's 53 miles.
Is it?
It's an hour. You go from the front door of Mar-a-Lago to Florida Panthers game in an hour. Wow. Are you American or not?
Wow. So this series really is. It really does.
It's America against Canada.
Man.
It's America against Canada.
Yeah. No, I'm going for the Canadians in this one. I'm going for Edmonton. I've always wanted to go to Edmonton, Alberta, I believe. Is that Alberta, Canada?
It's wild to go from storming the Capitol to rooting for Canada.
Always wanted to go to Edmonton. Is that Alberta? Edmonton?
Yeah, Edmonton, Alberta. I know that. But it's Edmonton, Alberta.
Yeah.
It's Edmonton,
right.
Alberta. That's the province.
They got a storied past. I don't think the Canadians have won a Stanley Cup in a minute either. Let's see who.
You sure did turn into Rosie O'Donnell all of a sudden.
Stanley Cup champions by year. Let's see. Yeah, dude, it's been a long time actually. Canada.
Good.
Canada has fallen off.
They've fallen off because of
big time.
They've fallen off because of what I think is commonly referred to as American excellence.
Let's see.
It's cool that you had your little cold ice sport, Canadians, but just give us a few decades to catch up. Then we'll dominate you at that as well.
Holy crap, dude. They have not won since 93.
Bennett's just now learning about hockey.
Montreal was the last Stanley Cup winner from Canada. How about that? Yeah, Edmonton. This is easy.
I thought you were American. I'm sorry.
I'm not rooting for the Florida Panthers. Give me a break.
Hey.
Even Americans hate that stupid team.
I will.
They do have a guy named Bennett who scores a lot of goals.
I will
like
remind you of this day on July 4th when you try to post your little Happy July 4th.
I have never done that in the history of
I know you're going to be on
Day.
Instagram.
I have never done that in the
I know you're going to be on Instagram.
Independence
You're going to
Day.
have your red, white, and blue on talking about Happy 4th of July. And I'm going to pop right in there to the comments and be like, you shut up. It was just less than a month ago, you were rooting for Canada against America. Now you're like, oh, happy birthday, America?
Okay, dude.
Zip your lips.
I'm rooting.
Zip your lips.
All right.
Zip your lips.
I'm rooting for the Arkansas Razorbacks in the College World Series. I guess we're the NCAA playoffs.
That's fine.
That's about as American as it gets.
Yeah, but you're offsetting it with this Canadian stuff.
Not rooting for the Florida Panthers, all right? I'm not doing it. Although I do like Sam Bennett. He scores a lot of goals.
Their most famous resident has been called some awful things. He's a colonizer.
Oh, Canada. Yeah, he's not their most famous resident.
Name more famous.
Wayne Gretzky.
In the year 2025, is Wayne Gretzky more famous than Drake.
Yes. He was on the broadcast last night.
He's more hip-hop than Drake.
Yeah, dude. Yes, Wayne Gretzky.
He's more hip-hop than Drake.
I will stand on Wayne Gretzky's more famous than Drake.
You're going to side with the colonizers' country. Unbelievable. You're going to side with the habitual liars' country.
Mm-hmm.
Master manipulator.
Okay, but I'm going to offset it like I'm rooting against SGA tonight.
Pick a side. Are you American or not? Let's just settle this right now. Are you American or not? Pick a side. You're either rooting for the American team or the Canadian team. Pick a side.
I'm rooting for the Canadian team.
Yeah, my God.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Canadian team. Yes. Let's go Oilers.
I can't believe this. I can't believe we lost you.
I once rooted for a team called the Oilers, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again.
All right. Yeah, hey, take it up with Uncle Sam.
Yeah,
all right?
I will.
If you can take it up with Uncle Sam. If you can look yourself in the mirror, that's fine. But you're going to have to look yourself in the mirror. You're siding with a habitual liar and a master manipulator, colonizer.
Mm-hmm. I like Canada.
Jesus Christ.
I like Canada. When everything goes wrong here, I hope that they're like we remember you. When I need somewhere to go, I hope that they're like we remember you, buddy.
I mean, we might all need somewhere to go.
Yeah, you come right in. We remember back in 2025.
Yeah, maybe
you pushing for our Oilers. You're damn right I did.
Bennett, I think you've lost your way.
Mm-hmm.
You've lost your way. It happens. People lose their way sometimes. It happens. I feel like I lost my way at one point. I found myself, but I lost my way. Sometimes people lose their way. You've lost your way.
No, I don't think so.
I'll help you find yourself someday.
Yeah.
You've lost your way.
It was a great game last night. I watched the whole thing.
That was the other thing. I didn't mean to talk about all this.
I was going to say, there was a game last night.
I swear to God, none of this was in my head when I put this in 5 more things. Having this silly conversation was not my plan, all right? But sometimes the show goes where it goes. I turned on SportsCenter last night after Mets-Dodgers. I stayed up for the end of Mets-Dodgers. We were up late last night. And I turned on like the late night SportsCenter. There's Michael Eaves, our friend Michael Eaves, Nicole Briscoe. They're like, hey, let's go to Edmonton. And I'm like, man, I didn't even know this was really happening. I guess I've just reached a point in my life where I know about the things I know about. And you could just start the Stanley Cup final and I might not be aware. I guess that's where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't hit me in the face. Like in my day-to-day, whatever I'm doing, there are things that are impossible for me not to see. And apparently, the Stanley Cup is not one of those things.
Well, I don't think you're alone. Like, you talked about what could happen with these NBA Finals ratings. The hockey ratings have not been good this year.
Is that true?
No, they haven't been good.
Well, that's disappointing.
No, and it looked like it was gonna, when they got that new TV deal, it actually looked like it was that things were gonna change because you could just see it more. Like It was on TNT, it was on ESPN, but they haven't been great this year. No. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Go Oilers. Shout out Connor McDavid. He's the best player in hockey. Did you know that?
I think I was
knowledge for you.
I think I was aware that somebody named Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey. I think I did know that. I think I'd have had a better shot of knowing that than you did Larry O'Brien.
Maybe so. Had the game-winning assist last night.
Yeah, congratulations, I guess.
Number 2.
Oh, man.
Now to real sports.
Get
American on you.
2 American teams playing each other. Can I interest you in an American named Pete? What's more American than a big white dude named Pete?
I don't think anything.
Hitting home runs.
No, I don't think anything.
That's our national pastime.
Yeah.
What's our national pastime? Baseball.
Yeah, I guess so.
America's game. I'm starting to sound like Uncle Baby Billy again.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Sometimes I just start talking like Uncle Baby Billy. Sometimes I want to be Uncle Baby Billy. It's a weird thing I'm going through.
Yeah.
Stayed up late last night. It's an NLCS preview. You know the deal. I decided to stay up late last night. I was going to watch the whole thing. And, buddy, I'm glad I did because after the Mets took a 3-0 lead, in part because of a Pete Alonso home run early, he comes to the plate. Woo! Buddy, watch this one.
Okay.
And he drives this
my God.
deep left field. Forget that. That is
Good
way
Lord.
over the pavilion.
Oh, buddy.
Second of the night, a 3-run bomb.
Shohei's the only man get him up there.
Where is he?
Until the polar bear shows up at Dodger Stadium.
I made another.
Look, did they show Freddie Freeman here? Look at Freddie Freeman. He looked like he just seen a ghost. Freddie Freeman's like, man, I ain't never seen nothing like
those
that.
jerseys. Those are good.
Look at those. LGM.
I made another huge mistake last night.
You keep betting these terrible home run odds?
Because, I had the...
you took the Mets.
Yeah, I took the Mets, so I got the win last night. But I was like, well, maybe I should just... Because it's just right there. Maybe I should just hedge with an Ohtani homer.
You can't help yourself.
It was plus 160.
That's a terrible bet. That's really bad.
A home run. I was just like, oh my God.
It'd be like if I just went in and it was like Tyrese Halliburton to score 70 points tonight, minus 110. It'd be like, that's just a terrible bet.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing with your little Shohei bets.
And
they're taking advantage of your lack of math skills.
And Pete Alonso was right underneath him, and he was like plus 360, and I was like, I should have done that.
You know what you should do? Stop betting home run props.
Well, Ohtani's going to hit it. I mean, listen, dude, he's due. He hasn't hit one in like 2 to 3 games.
You sound like every dumb gambler I've ever talked to in my life.
Tonight's the night. Do they play tonight?
And
y'all got one more game today.
Yes, this afternoon, buddy.
Oh, my God.
It's a 3 o'clock first pitch.
Let me see if I can find some odds real quick.
I, like you, am a dumb gambler, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not so dumb that I sit around betting home run props every day.
Let's see.
Like, I'm not that dumb. I'm dumb, but not as dumb as you, apparently.
Okay, let's see what we can get. 3 o'clock today, Ohtani. We can get, plus 200 today.
That's still terrible. I could bring on any gambling expert that you want. I'll get Katie. You want me to get Katie Mox on a Zoom with you and let you ask her the value of home run props connected to Shohei Ohtani?
Who's pitching for the Mets today? Who's on the mound? That's important.
Okay, let's
It
see.
is David Peterson.
Oh, buddy. He's 4-2, 2.69 ERA.
He's dealing.
Do you want me to get Katie Mox on a Zoom with you so she can explain to you
I would
how
like
betting?
to talk to her.
I know
Yeah,
you would love for
I
me to
would
get
like
Katie
to.
Mox on a Zoom with you.
I would like to talk to her.
Maybe I'll get Katie Mox on a Zoom with you
How we
someday.
feel about David today?
Well, trying to take 3 or 4 from the world champion Dodgers.
That's just not going to happen.
What do you mean? This is a different... You're thinking of the old Mets. These are the new Mets. These are the Juan Soto Mets. You're thinking of the old Mets. These are the Juan Soto Mets. Just don't make any home run prop bets. That's all I'm saying. Take the Dodgers. Take the Mets. I don't care. Like, at least that's sensible. You sitting around waiting on Shohei Ohtani runs, home runs at plus 200 that's not good value.
Okay.
All right? Be smarter
We'll see.
lose your money more intelligently. You're going to lose it no matter what. I hate to spoil it for you, aspiring gamblers. You're going to lose no matter what.
Yeah.
You're never going to pay your car off, okay? You're going to lose no matter what, but you don't have to lose it on home run prop bets, Bennett.
Okay.
All right? Pete Alonso. So glad they kept him. They were real close to not keeping him.
Yeah, it seems like the right move.
The negotiations were tough, and buddy, he's hitting the ball. He seems like he's got a point to prove. He wanted a bigger contract than he got. Now he's out there trying to prove points. You don't give me the big contract this time, I'll go get it.
Yeah.
The next time. 2 home runs last night.
Good on him.
Game 4 of a 4-game set for this afternoon.
Number 3.
Women's College World Series.
What's going on?
This was actually interesting. Did you see what happened?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Okay. So Texas and Texas Tech are playing last night. This is game 1 of the College World Series. And there's a young woman named Najeri Kennedy. And I heard Jess talking about her earlier in the week. She's this unbelievable pitcher, first-team All-American, started her career, I believe, at Stanford, but has subsequently transferred to Texas Tech, big NIL package. Texas Tech throws around NIL money like crazy, including, apparently, in women's softball. So she's on the mound last night. Texas Tech's up 1-0. And they get into a spot where I believe it's second and third. First base is open. And Texas, the Texas star is up at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide to intentionally walk her. Just 4 balls. And put her on first, and now let's play. This is the stuff you've watched baseball, you see it every game.
Yep.
going to put her on first. But you gotta. This isn't the type of baseball or softball where you can just say, ball 4, send them down. You got to actually throw 4 balls and walk her down to first. So the count gets to 3-0, and the pitcher, who is so clearly still trying to intentionally walk, the catcher standing up, like you see, she throws one not too far out of the strike zone, and watch what happened.
3 home runs here at the series.
Gets a hit to pitch, and she will drive in a pair. And Texas has the lead on her first hit of the World Series.
And that was that.
That's brutal.
The young woman at the plate, Reese Atwood, it was supposed to be ball 4, but it was like, well, here's the pitch. It's right here. I'm going to smack it. And so she smacked it, game-winning hit. And Nigeri, had media availability afterwards, and she was great. She handled it as well as that's a tough moment for any young person. I thought she handled it pretty impressively because there was a sentiment from the media. Very quickly, the narrative connected to this was, you know what? I bet she's never intentionally walked somebody before and doesn't know how to do it.
That's a good point.
Because she's so unbelievable.
So good, yeah.
So
why would you ever?
So that was the line of questioning. Have you just never done that before? Have you ever? And she was short, but she was like a professional. She said, to answer your question, yes, I have intentionally walked somebody before. And she went on to say, listen, the implication was more or less, I haven't done it much. I don't know if I wanted to do it there, but I'm in college. I should be able to do that. And if I don't do that, that's on me. I let my team down. I failed in that moment. She just seemed in a time where you got professional golfers walking out after bad rounds without speaking to the media, and basketball players leaving locker rooms without speaking to the media. Here's a young woman who is on the biggest stage she's ever been on and had a bad moment. This is like different levels of sports, right? It's softball as opposed to the national championship game in men's basketball. But the Chris Webber timeout is something people remember forever.
Sure.
And here's you're supposed to be intentionally walking the hitter. Why are you putting the ball over the plate where she can smack it like that? That's a big mishap on a big stage. And she showed up to talk about it. And I thought talked about it pretty well and took the blame for it. And so, I don't know, just one of those deals. You watch baseball, softball, every day for a year, you might not see something like that decide a game. And yet that is what decided game 1 of the Women's College World Series. So fun stuff there. And I'll never pretend that I sit around watching college baseball or college softball literally at all during the season. But once we get to this stage,
oh, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I will watch college softball. Yeah. I won't know the teams. I won't know the players. I won't know anything about it. But I'll watch it because it looks important and it's fun. It looks important. It's high-stakes stuff and it's fun. So I'll turn this stuff on. I'll be watching a lot of baseball, softball at the collegiate level over the next couple of weeks. Looking forward to it.
Number 4.
Rest in peace, Hooters, downtown. What? Oh my, look at it.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at it.
Barron just sitting there.
Ain't no telling how much sexual harassment went on in that place. I mean, just broadly speaking, if you've ever been to a Hooters.
Have you been to a Hooters?
You know what I'm talking about. I don't think I'm telling secrets here. People get weird inside Hooters. People get weird inside Hooters. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Old men get weird inside Hooters. That's a fact.
I think I got weird as a teenager. At the one over on, it's been long gone, the one over by Halley Stadium.
We used to do it then.
We used to do that one all the time.
Oh, yeah. Buddy. Mm-hmm. Those were all my...
I think it was Mount Moriah.
Mount Moriah. Those were all my high school...
Yeah, that was a great Hooters.
Not girlfriends, friends.
Yeah, that was a great
seriously,
Hooters.
all my the girls I kicked it with in high school.
They were to that Hooters?
They didn't all, but multiple.
Yeah.
And then ended up in the National Hooters calendar.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
I don't think they do that anymore. Hooters is struggling.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it ain't just us. It ain't just that. That's why when this I knew.
Why is Hooters struggling? Did we stop liking Hooters? What's going on? What happened?
I think we're just more what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe that kind of behavior.
I had like a million words swirling in my head. None of them appropriate.
I think in the year 2025, a place like Hooters just doesn't work as like a national chain restaurant.
Why? It used to work.
Oh, I mean,
used to look forward.
It was called Hooters, man. Like,
yeah, that's tough. That can be tough in the year 2025.
Yeah, and it wasn't because of the owl. You know, it's just.
We had a little thing. So, like, I've had a bunch of Hooters phases in my life. All right, I had the Hooters phase where it was literally my friends working there, and we would just go there and we'd hang out, and then they would, we'd hang out all night, and then they'd come hang out at wherever we were hanging out, and I could reasonably be at Hooters and like, why are you here? Well, my friends are here. We're hanging out with my friends, drinking with my friends. And,
Me and Roser did a radio remote at Hooters one time.
I believe I've done stuff. I've certainly done appearances at Hooters before, right? So that was one Hooters phase. That's where I felt like this is where I should be. I'm not here creeping on the waitresses. These are the waitresses I'm going to be hanging out with till 3 o'clock in the morning tonight.
Right.
These are my friends. So I had that Hooters phase. I was very comfortable in that one. Then we went through a Hooters phase where we were, let's just say, getting a little older. Maybe we're early 30s, mid 30s even. And
that was when you just went for the food?
We just going for the food.
Gotcha.
We're going to play, hey, let's go play around the golf. Losers got to buy fried pickles. We'd never say Hooters. We'd say fried pickles. The loser has to buy fried pickles. And then it'd be like, well, where are we going to get fried pickles? Well, Hooters. I mean, where else would you even go?
Good fried pickles.
So we were lying to ourselves. Yeah, well, we're not going to Hooters because we're creeping like creeps. We play golf for fried pickles. Now golf's over. Vernon owes me fried pickles. Where can you get fried pickles around here? I guess we'll go to Hooters. Okay, we'll go to Hooters again after golf. And then after a while, that just felt stupid. Like I did have a moment where I was like, I just shouldn't be sitting here. It's just like.
I think maybe too many people had that epiphany, and that's why it's not doing as well as it did once upon a time.
That's tough. Where's the next generation of Hooters customers?
I don't think they
I have a
exist.
22-year-old son. Do you think he's ever been to Hooters? I'm going to ask him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if he's ever been to Hooters.
Because it did feel like a rite of passage.
Man, yeah.
It really did.
Would you take Noah to Hooters?
No.
You wouldn't? Why?
Well, I mean, I guess.
The pickles are amazing.
They're pretty good. I mean, in this city specifically, like, why would I go to Hooters for wings? Like, it's when we have like a million great wing places.
You just say, because, man, Hooters does them the way I like them.
Yeah, all right.
You just say, I just like the way they do them at Hooters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just, I'm just not sure it works anymore. I saw they closed down like 5 of them in Georgia.
It's tough.
Yesterday, too.
Oh, no, not the one in Augusta.
I actually think that they did. Yeah. I hang on. Let me find that. I saw the tweet.
They cannot shut the one down in Augusta.
I saw the tweet. It might not be. I could have sworn that it was, though.
Oh, that one. Every college basketball coach in the country has been to that one.
Let's see if I can find it.
If you ever want to
No, Augusta's good. Atlanta, Douglasville, Duluth, and Valdosta are closing.
If you ever want to try to have an affair with a college basketball coach, buddy, just get a job at the Hooters in Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah, so it's not just us. They closed 30 locations yesterday. So, yeah, they're struggling.
Peach Jam. The Hooters in Augusta is wild during Peach Jam week. It gets wild in there.
Yeah, I bet. I wonder, that is, like, in all seriousness, that's like prime real estate right there.
Well, in all seriousness, once we get through joking about Hooters, it is another downtown restaurant that's just not there anymore.
Yeah, but again, it's a national chain that's closing locations all over the country.
I get it, but like yesterday, we had a certain amount of restaurants downtown, and now we have one less.
Yeah, but we just opened like 3 local, so I am not losing any sleep over this Hooters closing. Let's open a great local spot right there in that prime real estate.
Okay, Bennett.
Yeah, I'm losing 0 sleep over that Hooters closing.
Yeah, that's because you were never friends with the waitresses like I was.
I was at the ones on Mount Moriah.
You were not. Those were my friends.
No, those were my friends.
Those were my friends.
No, I grew up with them. Those are my friends.
In all seriousness, some of my niece's friends work at Hooters. They're Hooters waitresses.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, like...
They said it's changing. Things have changed.
I don't know. I try not to talk to them about it.
It ain't like it used to be.
I try not to talk to them about it. I
Yeah.
feel like it's none of my business.
Yeah.
When I talk to my nieces or my niece's friends, I have this moment, I swear to God, where I go, what was Bill Belichick doing? Because the most recent Belichick story was like when they were they met on a plane.
Yeah.
And when he was talking her up on the plane, if you do the math on it, she's 19 years old. And I have a little niece, I have a 19-year-old niece who goes to Mississippi State. And she's like just beautiful, sweetest, everything. She's just everything you'd want your niece to be.
Yeah.
If you had a daughter, she's everything you'd want your daughter to be.
Gotcha.
And she was over at the house last week or whatever, and watching Lou while the parents were off working.
Mm-hmm.
And I got home and we just sort of sat down and I was just sort of catching up with her and, hey, so how's school? And so what's your summer plans? And I just was like, I can't believe Bill Belichick talked to a 19-year-old. She seems so like a child.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so when I'm around these young women, I don't even know how you talk to them. Like, I don't know how you can be Bill Belichick talking up a 19-year-old. It just seems crazy to me. It just seems insane to me. So I don't have real long conversations. But here's what I was told. They have like actual Venmo accounts and stuff. Like these old creeps will just be like,
oh, the Hooters waitresses?
They'll just like Venmo you $50 for no reason.
Sure.
They'll like go live from Hooters. Like they'll just jump on whatever you jump on live. Like there'll be a slow day. You ain't got a lot of tables. You can just go live. These creeps will start Venmoing you money.
God.
It's wild out there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know. Anyway, rest in peace to Hooters downtown.
I'm not losing sleep over it. Let's open up a really awesome spot right there. Because, I mean, it's like literally you can walk out this building and walk. I mean, it's
Look
right
at it.
there.
It's right there.
And dude, like.
I didn't even get to go pay my respects.
I didn't either, but like we had years and no one cared. So like I think this feels like more of a Hooters problem. I think we can upgrade. No offense to Hooters, I think we can upgrade.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's upgrade.
I don't know how you just upgrade from Hooters. That ain't something, man. I tell you what, when you're a young man, you never think you'll get to a day where you say, I think we can upgrade a Hooters.
Mm-hmm.
When that ain't something a young man says. Not back in my day. That ain't something a young man would say.
Yeah. Times have changed.
We had the Hooters on Mount Moriah. We weren't trying to upgrade it. We were trying to get another one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we was trying to get another one.
We lost that one too. So let's.
We've lost. You know where our Hooters is now? In the Memphis area. If you want to,
I think Wolf Chase, right?
Is that one still open?
I think Wolf Chase has one.
Horn Lake.
Y'all got a Horn Lake Hooters?
We have a Horn Lake Hooters.
Okay.
That's where we used to go get our pickles after golf. The pickles were really good, and you owed them to me. You missed the putt on 18.
Yeah.
Now you owe me pickles. There's nowhere else to get fried pickles in the area other than Hooters. That's why we were at Hooters.
Okay. All right.
That's the only reason we were at Hooters. We liked fried pickles. You owe them to me, or I owe them to you. Don't know where else to get them. Got to go to Hooters.
Yeah.
We grew out of that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Greg Hardy's back in the news. This scumbag. Arrested, charged with causing bodily harm to a family member. That's never what you want to get charged with, is it?
No. No.
I remember once upon a time when we were on radio.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow Greg Hardy was in the news, and I said something not kind about him. And I got this, I don't know whether it was an email or a tweet or however people could reach you back then.
Yeah.
And it was like, GP, I'm real disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
People were disappointed in me. I was like, well, join the club. I'm real disappointed. Like, at the end of the day, that's a young man from Memphis, and that's an Ole Miss graduate, and yeah, he might have made some mistakes in his life, but, you know, you were born in Memphis. That's a Memphian. We should be rooting for people like that and celebrating somebody who came from here and made all these millions and became an all-pro football player. And when somebody takes the time to send me something like that, as long as it's not too long, If it's too long, I just can't even read it.
Yeah,
I get overwhelmed by the visual of it. Are you like that at all?
No.
I get overwhelmed by, if you hand me one sheet of paper to fill out, I will fill it out right now and hand it back to you. If you hand me 15 pieces of paper to fill out, I get overwhelmed by it, and I just set it over here, and you look up a week later, and it's like the numbers overwhelm me.
Gotcha.
I think it's a condition or something.
Maybe so.
All right. So if you send me an email and it's just too long, I go, I couldn't even, I don't even know how I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I just hit delete sometimes. Mm-hmm. But if it's, more to the point, I try to take the time to at least consider it. Hey, I don't have to be right about everything. Maybe this person's making a good point. So I thought about that for a minute, and I was like, no, I don't think we should celebrate Greg Hardy. He is an awful human. Awful, awful, awful human. I don't know why exactly. I don't know what caused it. But he has been doing, allegedly and proven beyond a reasonable doubt, awful stuff pretty much his entire adult life. And so, yeah, I do tend to root for Memphians, Cam Jones, to Joe Jackson, to, Moneybag Yo, anybody. I want awesome people to do awesome things from here, but this guy's a real stain on Briarcrest Christian, on Ole Miss football, and on the city of Memphis. And now here he is again facing another very serious allegation. And a lot of these allegations, they all fall under the same umbrella. Go Google the well-reported story about the domestic violence incident he had.
It's ugly.
I mean, the ugliest.
Mm-hmm.
The ugliest. And I had forgotten about him, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, because he did the UFC thing for a second.
And wasn't very good at that.
He wasn't very good.
Oh, maybe that was it. People were like, you should be rooting for him to get
Yeah.
It might have been the UFC thing, and I was like, I'll be rooting for him to get knocked out. And then the letter arrived, like, but that's a Memphis. I was like, no, I want him to get knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to get hit just as hard as he allegedly hit whomever. So we have a lot of incredible people who have come out of this city and done well in sports, made millions, and shined a positive light on this place, but he ain't one of them.
Nope.
He's the worst of the worst, and I guess I'm not surprised to see he's back in the news for the wrong reasons. Be back with GP's Carry Out.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
You've seen the Grizzlies jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drumline in the NBA. Grizzlies entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizzlies is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show presented by the U-Haul truck. It's a U-Haul
They
truck.
are taking the chairs.
They ain't wasting
out
no
from
time.
in front of Hooters. Yep.
They ain't wasting no
Oh,
time.
you can see it back there in the back.
Man, body ain't even cold yet.
I mean, that thing closed last night. Hey, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they got plans already. Maybe they're like, we know what's going on there.
You think they know what's going on there?
Listen, we got to get something good right there. I'm telling you, that's prime real estate, bro. We need a great establishment, preferably food establishment, right there, so you can leave, because you can either leave FedEx Forum and go hit up, Beale Street, or you can go that direction, and it takes a minute to get to the food stuff over there.
Man, they ain't wasting those time. Man,
put something awesome right there.
That's like,
I kind of want a chair. I wonder if I can run down there before they leave. Right, I need some kind of memorabilia.
Man, them chairs have seen some stuff.
Dude, let's be honest.
Them chairs have seen some stuff, didn't it?
I don't know how long it sure has. I don't know how long Hooters has left, just in Americana in general, and so I feel like I need. You think, dude? Again, I just told you they closed 30 locations yesterday.
I hear you. I'm struggling with what it feels like. 2025, based on everything else that's going on in this world.
Yeah.
It feels like 2025 should be the year of Hooters.
The year of Hooters. I
mean,
if
anybody could bring Hooters back, it feels like the people who are in charge of stuff right now would very
be able
much,
to,
or certainly be interested in.
I don't know, man. I think it's a model that just doesn't work in this day and age. Just don't work anymore.
That's tough.
Go cry to your local bartender.
That's
not
tough.
some girl trying to put herself through college.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's not something a young man ever says.
Yeah.
Not where I'm from.
I'm optimistic about the future, but I feel like I need to get some Hooters memorabilia, because I feel like it's going to be one of those things that just doesn't exist one day.
I could put you in a group text with some former Hooters waitresses.
Can you?
Yeah.
And
they're all
gear. Yeah.
They're all moms now.
Right.
I mean, in fairness, some of them were moms back then.
Yeah.
Everybody's running their own race.
Yeah.
Everybody's running their own race. It's tough to see. I mean, imagine dying last night and by noon the next day they got all your stuff out the house.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think Hooters feels about this?
I think they got bigger problems. I don't think they're.
That's a tough visual, though.
It is. It was hard to see, but
we'll
be okay.
I feel like they loading some memories in that U-Haul truck.
I feel like that too.
All right, let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
Okay.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but the most depressing thing by far is the loss of Hooters downtown. And they ain't taking no time. I thought maybe I could drive by there and just peek inside.
Yeah.
See if old what's-her-name was still sitting in there, Just
Oh, I mean, if it was open today, I would 1,000% go eat there.
So why didn't they talk to us about this? Why didn't they say, hey, Hooters is closing? Like we did this with Malco. We're like, hey, if you want to go to the drive-in one last time, you better do it this weekend. And everybody did it. Why didn't they tell us?
Well, they originally said they were going to leave it open all summer, but that's fine.
All right. Well, let's not get hung up on the details.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if they would have told us on Monday, the last day to ever come to Hooters downtown is Wednesday, we could have made it. We could have planned a field trip.
Mm-hmm.
We could have planned a field trip.
Yeah.
I know Rosa would have gone.
Yeah.
We could have planned a field trip. Could have got Luke to go. He'd have gone. Luke would go. We could have planned a field trip. As it is, we're just sitting here reminiscing.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah. I guess. Again, I'm optimistic. I'm not sweating this.
All right, Bennett.
We're going to get something good there.
Man, yeah.
I need all my local restaurateurs to come together and figure out what's going to work right there.
You know what would work right there?
The Chick-fil-A.
It would.
You know we're getting a Chick-fil-A downtown.
How about that?
Yeah, they're putting one over by St. Jude. It's all the signage up.
Those kids deserve that.
Yeah.
If there's ever some kids that deserve to have a Chick-fil-A nearby, that's it, right? Everybody deserves it.
And all the people that work there, too.
Of course.
Yep.
I mean, that goes without saying, Bennett. That goes without saying. Well, Congratulations to downtown on its new Chick-fil-A. Like, seriously, you go to downtown Indianapolis, and it really is like you'll be walking down whatever the equivalent of like Bill Street, Main Street is, and there'll just be like a Taco Bell there.
Yeah.
And there'll just be like a Crystal there. Like a Crystal.
So you want something like that?
I don't know, but I'm saying that's the type of stuff that works.
Yeah.
Taco Bell's work. Chick-fil-A's work.
It does seem like a good spot for a quick service and maybe not a sit down.
I mean,
you could have some chairs and tables.
That is my complaint about
downtown. We don't have enough quick service.
I would like to be able to say, I'm hungry right now. I want to go grab something fast. Like fast food.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of there's not options like that. You mostly have to go sit down somewhere. You could walk to Starbucks and get a grilled cheese. I've had so many grilled cheeses from Starbucks. But we don't have like there's not just like a Taco Bell to walk to or a Wendy's to walk to.
I had a Maciel's over on Main. It's a good little quick taco spot.
In most speaking as somebody who has been in a lot of downtowns throughout my life, most downtowns do have like traditional fast food spots just next to the hotels and bars and everything else. Like you could just walk and go get a Jimmy John's right outside of the hotel. And there's not a lot of that in downtown Memphis.
Multiple people are saying a Taco Bell cantina would work there. I
think a Taco Bell cantina would work anywhere.
I tend to agree.
Put one in my backyard.
I tend to agree.
I wish I had a Taco Bell cantina in my backyard.
In my yard, yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Can you get drinks at the cantina?
Like alcoholic beverages?
Yeah, I think you can get drinks at the cantina, can't you? It's different than a regular Taco Bell.
I can't speak to it, Bennett. I can't speak to that.
Okay.
But hope so. I like to have a good drink with my bean burrito, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Rest in peace,
What's
Hooters.
today's biggest game?
Game 1 NBA Finals, 7:30 tip on ABC. Pacers Thunder, Paycom Center, downtown OKC. Thunder are 9.5-point favorites. Totals 230.5. Big Bet Bennett.
Don't love that.
How you going to act?
I mean, obviously give me...
Thunder up!
No, I mean...
Thunder up!
Obviously give me the
Thunder
Pacers.
Up. Thunder up.
Give me the Pacers.
Oh, you're going to be on the wrong side of history.
That's fine. I just like... if this is like... I mean, it's worse. It's pretty bad if the Thunder just like... If this is like a 5-0 or a 5-1 series or something like that.
It can't be 5-1, Bennett.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If this is a 4-0 series, I don't know what I lost my train of thought for a second. But like, I think that it's more likely to be a 4-0 Thunder series than like go to 7 games or something like that.
That is quite literally true. According to the betting markets, you are more likely to see a OKC sweep than anybody do enough to get it to
there. Did I just have a stroke or something? Something weird just happened in my brain.
You might have just had a stroke.
I forgot how to talk.
Live on the air.
Yeah.
You know, if I were betting, I would have bet it would be me before you to stroke out on air.
Yeah.
I would have thought it'd be me before you.
That was really weird.
Turns out it was you.
God help me. Yeah,
it was
I do
you.
have Hooters on the brain.
It was you before it was me.
Yeah. No, I really want this to be a good series. I do. And I'm rooting for the Pacers, obviously.
I struggle with this. I don't know what to do. On one hand, I just want to watch great basketball as many games as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like watching great basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, I just want to watch great basketball as many times as possible. On the other hand, I want to be able to look at Vernon every day and be like, tell me more about your little playoff scars theory. Tell me more about how they don't have enough playoff scars. I want to be able to say that to Vernon for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And the best version of that story is a sweep. So what do I want? To watch great basketball for as long as possible, or to be as right as possible in my personal duel with Vernon? I think we all know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Thunder in 4. Thunder in 4. Look at these arms. Look at these arms.
Mm-hmm.
You see any playoff scars?
I said when you
Do you see any playoff scars?
No. I said
I don't need them. That's my point. I don't need them.
I said
I
Thunder
will hold
in
the
6.
Larry O'Brien trophy with these arms free
Okay.
of playoff scars. I don't need them. They're unnecessary. People tried to tell you they were necessary. Old Big Mouth. They're unnecessary. We start proving that tonight. Thunder up.
Okay.
What are we watching on TV?
I think just the NBA. It's game 1 of the NBA Finals. Plus, Adam Silver needs us.
Yeah.
Can we just focus on game 1 of the NBA Finals?
Sure.
Adam Silver needs us. We need to just focus on game 1 of the NBA Finals. 7:30 tonight, ABC. Hey, there's a report out.
Uh-oh.
That this could be Doris Burke's last NBA Finals.
Yeah, what's the deal there? What's going on with the crew?
It's weird because I know the ESPN NBA people, broadly speaking, have never been popular with NBA fans to the degree anywhere close that the TNT guys are.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody always loved Doris Burke.
Yeah.
So what happened?
What happened?
Why
Yeah.
are we out on Doris Burke now?
I don't know.
I thought everybody loved Doris Burke. I genuinely believe sometimes people like to say they love Doris Burke so they can say they love Doris Burke. Like, I think that became a thing. Like,
but I know, I think she's good, though. I like listening to her.
I think she's great. Like, I genuinely think she's great.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering, like, what happened? It feels a little bit like the Tony Romo thing. Everybody went from Tony Romo's amazing to Tony Romo's not amazing. And I'm like, well, did he change? What happened?
You know, I don't know if it's a coincidence that she calls SGA a free throw merchant, and then all of a sudden her career's in jeopardy.
I don't want her career to be in jeopardy. I like Doris Burke. Like, I genuinely like Doris Burke and think she's very talented and good at her job.
Was she lying?
I don't think she's lying. I'm not comfortable calling Doris Burke a liar. Are you? I'm not comfortable with
Yeah,
that.
like people made so much of that comment, and I'm like, what? She is a free throw merchant. Like, what are we talking about?
What are we talking
He
about?
shoots more free throws than anybody in the damn league.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I'm pro Doris Burke. I'm always interested in, like, what happened? How did everybody go from loving her to saying she might need to be replaced on the number 1 NBA team that ABC/ESPN has? Just like, I'll be honest, I don't watch it I don't watch her games enough to know what happened. But the opinion, and maybe nothing happened. Maybe she's exactly as she was, and just the opinion shifted. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, there was a time where that spot opened up, and people were like, you should give it to Doris Burke.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like, I don't know if she should keep it. I don't know what happened. But I look forward to watching her tonight on television.
I do too.
I do too.
What's the best thing we've read?
All right, Ben, you sent me a story
going
this
on?
morning. Well, you tell me what's going on. You tell me what's going on, because the Lionsgate boss, this is all film industry stuff, is on record saying that they plan to use AI in a variety of ways, among them to make projects that they otherwise wouldn't make. In other words, here's a film idea. How much is this going to cost? $100 million. In any sort of traditional way, it costs $100 million to do. But with the benefit of AI, the help of AI, you can make the same movie, but with AI, for $50 million. And this is very controversial in Hollywood. But the way he is justifying it is saying, you guys need to stop looking at it the way you're looking at it and look at it the way I'm looking at it. You're saying we shouldn't be using AI to make movies. I'm saying if we don't use AI, we ain't even making these movies. So maybe just be glad we're making more of these movies. Things we otherwise wouldn't take chances on. Like, that's not a $100 million bet we can make. But we can make a $50 million bet on it. More things will get made. We'll have to make them this way. But if you're a filmmaker, you got a better shot at getting things made. And the other argument is, yeah, but this is not the way to do it.
Hell no. Cinema is art, brother.
Cinema is art.
AI ain't art.
I don't believe you've started the studio yet.
No.
But when you do, you'll laugh. And there is one episode dedicated to this exactly.
Dude, he said something like he hinted at the example I think was maybe being able to do like a family-friendly John Wick movie or something like that. Yeah, like where you could use AI to you could take the John Wick movie, put it in and have AI filter out a PG version of John Wick.
Yes.
And I'm just like, what are we talking about, dude?
I saw an interview with a guy over the past week, and his name escapes me at this moment. I apologize, but he's somebody who is considered smart and a visionary. Somebody who worked in television for years and could always just see where things are going, and was consistently making those bets throughout his career and winning them more often than not. Just like the type of guy who always knew what's right around the corner and could see it before anybody else could see it. And the way he explained AI, he was like, I'm telling you, we as a people, we do not have any idea where this is going and how quickly it's going to get there, but it is going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's going to, this is going to change the way we, right now, you live your life still pretty much the way you lived your life a year ago. What this guy was suggesting is that will not be true soon. Your life is going to be different because of AI in ways that you don't even realize right now. He was more or less saying, do you remember, Jeff Calkins and I used to joke about this sometimes. It was like a week before COVID, before the whole country shut down. Whether we should have shut down or not, I'm not here to have that conversation. We all were living through it, how we lived through it. I think everybody was doing the best they could. But it was like a week before the whole country shut down, and Jeff and I were just sitting around talking, on the air, like we always did. And he was like, so do you think, our kids will miss a day of school? One day of school. Do you think your kids will miss a day of school because of the COVID, this thing? And we're like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. That seems crazy. I mean, who knows? But I don't think so. Literally a week later, nobody was in school anywhere in the country.
Right.
We were just dumb.
Yeah.
And I never forget, with the benefit of hindsight, there was a restaurant literally next to my hotel in New York that I went to have lunch at almost every day. And I just remember recognizing everybody in this restaurant who works here is wearing a mask. But I'm not. So what is it felt like we were just being stupid Americans. We didn't know. We didn't even take the time to go, this could get really bad. Evidence being that you had two idiots on the radio a week before the whole country shut down wondering if our kids would miss one day of school. We just didn't know because we didn't take the time to even. We were distracted by basketball games.
Yeah.
And the trade deadline and whatever else. And he just didn't. That's what this guy, what he suggested, that's what it felt like. You don't even know. It was most Americans right now have no idea what the world is going to look like very quickly.
Yeah, it's very scary. It already you, if you're not I don't want to say smart person, but dude, you can get online, you can get on Twitter or Instagram, whatever right now, and watch a bunch of videos that you think are real and are not. I watched a video yesterday of a town getting flooded in somewhere else in the world.
Well,
and it looked crazy, and there were so many comments oh my God, what's oh my God, and it was just fake. It was completely fake.
We have already reached the point where, and this wasn't true, I don't think, at least in my life, even a year ago, but we have already reached the point where I see something on the internet, and you
have to question it now.
It could just be a picture of somebody.
Yeah.
And I could go, a year ago, I would just go, well, that's a real picture of that person. And now I have to go, who knows if that's a real picture of that person?
Right.
I have no idea. It's wild out there.
Fun times.
You can read the story, variety.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Oh, man. Tomorrow's Friday. That means Jessica Benson going to sit with me chop it up with her. We'll look back at Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Let's meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.